Hope you are all having a glorious day. Today is the last lesson, but do not fear. There are a few extra videos that I put in a brief sort of appendix lesson. If you guys wanted to kind of take all this and make it a bit more concrete in looking at scholastic disputation and how all of these various concepts are going to work in that. So I attached a few videos I did a few months ago. So they're a bit old. I know a lot more about logic now than I did then, but I think it's all substantially correct. And then an article too that I wrote, I attached on there. So today we're going to be talking about method a bit, the various different methods of reasoning that we can use. So method, broadly speaking, is going to be the arrangements of the parts or individuals to a common end. So the end in logic is the attainment of truth, and then the parts that you are ordering are going to be the various judgments that we make. So we're ordering all of these different individual judgments, then also the various apprehensions that we may have, the various premises, and we're taking all of them and we're ordering it towards finding some sort of truth. And the process is going to begin with what are called first principles. And covering first principles specifically is going to be part of what's called criteriology. But briefly, first principles are those things not subject to proof. So something you have to assume when you come to the table. So that something cannot be X and not X at the same time in the same manner. So the law of non-contradiction, that's something which is which you can't prove, because by proving you're going to be assuming the law of non-contradiction. Any sort of logical reasoning assumes the law of non-contradiction. And when it comes to the two categories that we're going to be speaking, the first one's going to be a priori / a posteriori. So in order to understand what these are, there are two types of relations between premises and conclusions. The first is going to be the logical order, or better yet, I think it should be called the epistemological order, but in the tradition, it's called the logical order. That's going to be the order of knowing. So you have these two premises, and it leads to you knowing a certain conclusion. Now that's going to be in all, that's ubiquitous for every single type of syllogism, is you're going to have a logical order or an epistemological order. The premise is going to be made known, the conclusion is going to be made known by the premises. It's very simple, very easy. Now, second, you may have something added upon the logical order, which is also called the ontological order, or the order of being or causality. That not only is the conclusion revealed in the premises, the conclusion results from the premises. So that's going to be what's called a priori reasoning, if it includes both logical and ontological order. So an example is a man is a good painter, therefore he will paint good paintings. The skill of the painter is the ontological cause of good painting. Or the classical example is going to be about the soul having no metaphysical parts, therefore the soul is incorruptible, therefore immortal. So the fact that the soul is physically simple, that's the cause of its immortality. Not only do we know its immortality from its simplicity, but it's also the cause of its immortality. And then second, didn't mean to click. We have a posteriori reasoning, which is reasoning only epistemologically, not ontologically. So rather than being from cause to effects, it's from effects to cause. So we see a footprint in the sand. Therefore, we can reason that there was a foot that landed on that footprint. That's sort of a posteriori arguments. And the way in which I gave an example relating to the last one is there's a good painting, therefore a good painter must have caused this. And then lastly, this is going to be the last slide of the whole series. I know you guys are very sad. Is going to be the distinction between synthetic and analytic. So analytic reasoning is reasoning from the particular to the universal, the parts to the whole. So an example of this is knowing that an oak is a tree. A man examines the notes involved in the concept tree and finds analytically that the oak is a substance, material, vegetative, etc. So we kind of have this language that we use. We're analyzing a certain thing. So it's going to be involved in that one thing that's going to be digging under the surface. That sort of idea is going to be analytical reasoning. And then second, we have synthetical reasoning. So synthetical reasoning, or synthetic, is going to be putting together the parts of a certain whole from universal to particular. It's going to be kind of putting together the puzzle pieces, so to speak. So seeing that the human body is a substance, extended, living, sensitive, you can conclude from all of these various notes that the human body is of animal nature. So you're going to be taking the trees and you're going to be constructing from that the forest. You're going to be taking a bunch of different individuals and you're kind of putting together the puzzle into the beautiful and glorious whole. So that's the difference between analytical reasoning and synthetical reasoning. So usually the way in which it goes is you do a bunch of analysis of various different things, and then you take all of your conclusions and then you synthesize them into a whole. The end, if you guys have ever written a paper and your professor talks about the conclusion paragraph being a synthesis, that's what it is. You're taking together all of which you've investigated throughout the paper, and you're putting it into one neat little whole of a conclusion. Okay, that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you really enjoyed, make sure you can go to patreon.com/militantthomist if you want to donate for more of these videos to be produced. And if you really, really enjoyed, you can share this on your social medias and tell your friends if they want to learn scholastic logic to learn from scholastic answers. So thank you and God bless.